Welcome back to PlayXi Studios, everyone. Ryan here with a special, not pre-planned at all episode of Heavy Reflection. If you've kept up the past few weeks on the channel, you'll see that my videos have been pretty dense, shall we say. A lot of analysis, a lot of comparisons, deep dive review stuff. And we've got quite a few more planned in the next few weeks, at least until the end of November, and well beyond that for stuff that I have slated. So I wanted to take the opportunity to answer a series of questions that I've noticed get repeated every couple of months and give myself a little bit of breathing time to work on a couple upcoming very in-depth videos as well. And hopefully I'll be able to make this and push it out all in one day is the plan. But the theme for today is social media, guitar communities, and why I generally avoid them. I get asked a lot, hey, we've got this Facebook group. You seem like a like-minded individual. Why don't you join us? Or why don't you post more on this forum or post at all? Or why don't you have your own Discord? And I kind of want to get into that a little bit. But the overarching themes of this is, number one, first and foremost, what I do here on YouTube, for all of its faults, and YouTube has plenty of them, I am creatively fulfilled here. It does what I want it to do, and again, as many gripes as I have with the platform, they serve, I think, the best place for me to do what I do. Number two, the way that I've structured this channel and the way that I try to present myself as a reviewer or as a knowledge source or at least an opinion source, doing some of these things, joining certain groups, would actually be counterintuitive, or at the very least, be a conflict of interest for the way that I try to portray myself and my opinions and my analysis. And ultimately, number three, I'm a bit of an unsociable dork, which is probably not a surprise to any of you watching this, but it's an important factor. So I guess we'll jump right into it. I'll start with that second point, because this is something that, had I answered this question or been asked at all this question, say a year and a half ago, this is something I probably wouldn't have brought up, because it was only around that time that I really said to myself, you know what, this is the direction I want to take my videos. I still enjoy being the gear enthusiast, because I am. Look around. This is one corner of a room that is filled with guitar crap. So yes, I love to celebrate gear and show you how to get best results and just have fun getting different tones. That's half of what makes guitar playing fun for me. But that's what everyone in this guitar corner of YouTube does, more or less. There's a few that I think do it in a very particular way or have their own flavor of analysis or objectivity to it. But for the most part, actually saying what needs to be said a lot of the time just doesn't happen. And so I wanted to be, kind of that at least breaking ground or breaking point for that, where, I'm not necessarily super scientific or super deep into these topics, but I'm at least going far enough that I think 95% of people are going to be able to make a really informed decision in a way that they couldn't otherwise. Now, the problem with that is that, I try to have this objective persona, or at least put my YouTube channel out there as such. It's not a great look if I constantly post on, say, a Mesa Boogie forum about how great the Rectifier series is. And don't get me wrong, I'm a Rectifier fanboy. I have no problem telling you that. But I also have no problem telling you that there's a pretty big chance that you shouldn't have one, given all the other stuff out there today. And I definitely have no problems telling you that there's only a handful of genres or subgenres where I think these things rule supreme. Those are things that, I guess gear enthusiasts, no matter which side of things you're looking at, they don't like to hear that about their favorite products. But even so, after disclosing my personal opinion and still trying to objectively convey the things that I think you need to know, it's still not a great look if you see the handle PSS Ryan, tweeting out all these things about, oh, I just love Mesa Boogie amps, or posting in subreddits about these things, whether, it doesn't have to be this amp, it could be the Cherryatone stuff. And this is a good example because Cherryatone sponsors a number of these videos, which is great. I love working with Nick. It's been a pleasure ever since he, helped me out with this amplifier. But with Cherryatone, you know what is an advertisement because I say it's an advertisement, and their marketing talking points. That's stuff that Nick and his company want you to know about their product and hopefully get you to buy one. It's the point of an ad. And it, kicks back some revenue for me, helps me out on the channel. It's a good thing. But then you also know when it's my opinion or my review or deep dive, whatever. And that's stuff like Gear Curiosities or just plain reviews or whatever the series may be, where I get to talk about things like this and say, I love this amp, but not everybody should have one. I love this pedal, but it's not the do-all type of device that I think a lot of stuff out there does. And that's where I want to be as a content creator. I don't want to be another marketing puppet like so many creators are fine with being, and I don't hold it against them. You gotta pay for yourself. I don't do this as a living. So I kind of have that luxury, shall we say, of being the one or being at least a part of a small group, seemingly small group that says, you know what, manufacturers, this is unacceptable, or you really should be doing this for a product of this price. And so that's why joining amp forums or Facebook groups around this kind of gear that ultimately is just a big hype fest a lot of the times, that don't really want to have, discussions or actually talk about tutorials or things that interest me. I have no place there. So that's why, don't take it personally. I do get some invites every now and then, but I'm going to turn them down for that reason. Now, I've sort of grown into this role rather recently, but even if you had asked me these same questions before I started this YouTube channel in general, I'd probably give you the same answer because of who I am as a person. And at the core of it, it's that I'm an introvert. Shocking, I know. I probably should have told you to sit down first. But if you asked me whether I would rather attend a 90-minute cocktail party after work to rub elbows with upper management of a Fortune 500 company or dig a ditch in 95-degree Fahrenheit weather for 8 hours straight, I'll bring the shovel because I find social interaction absolutely fucking exhausting. Now, a couple beers with friends that I haven't seen in a long time, that's different. Even then, I've not got a whole lot of gas for that kind of stuff. I need my alone time. I need to do stuff like this. But, having to put on the fake smile, pretend you're not, pretend you're someone you're not, that's not for me whatsoever. And so my idea of fun is not checking for Twitter notifications. It's not, measuring how many friends I have on this social media platform versus someone I know. That may not sound like opposition to guitar communities or groups in the strictest form, but it kind of does carry over to the online world for me because I'm not the kind of person that wants to post something or, wait around for someone to post something and then get all excited and wait for replies and see how many likes I can get. That is like my worst nightmare. YouTube comments, the ones that I receive on my videos, they're enough of a hassle on their own. I do enjoy getting the ones that are constructive. It doesn't have to be negative or positive, just the ones that say, hey, this is what I liked about this video, do more of this, or I wish you would expand upon this more, or this is what I find in my personal experience. Everyone learns something, it's cool. And, I'm not saying we all have to be like, trying to learn something or we're wasting our time. That's the cool thing about the video format for me. Not only is it creative, I am a creative person at the end of the day, and typing up a forum post or, just taking a picture and posting it on Instagram to try to make my life look less boring than it actually is, that doesn't do it for me. It's a waste of time. Making videos as arduous as it can be. Sometimes I just want to do anything else, but editing some of the shootout portions, or comparing different tones, or hearing myself talk for 3 hours straight because I'm editing a roll for several videos. Sometimes it's horrible. But it's so rewarding because at the end, I got an end product, and it's something that someone can always reference in any way they want, whether it be half watching it while doing chores, or, maybe you're legitimately into these kind of videos and you sit down and make some popcorn and watch the whole thing through, or you're actively working on one of your own projects and you want to know, hey, does this pedal sound better for this application or this one? And I think there's a lot of each of those categories, and that's great because I don't think any other format really delivers that sort of flexibility. This is sort of like having just an encyclopedia open at all times, a visual audio encyclopedia. You can skip around, you can take things out that you want, you can ignore things that don't really, pertain to your situation. And I think that is the best thing about it. You can always come back and rewatch what you don't remember. And it's all just kind of finalized here, organized, hopefully decently enough that you can find the topic that you're looking for. And if I don't have it, a good chance someone else does. And again, there's a lot of things about YouTube I despise, the way Google and Alphabet runs this platform, but I can't say any other platform that does that for me. YouTube is the all-in-one education, information, infotainment. I want to watch anything, whether it be game reviews to, guitar stuff to just meme compilations. It's all there. Of course, I'm ignoring the spam, FaceTime challenge at 3 a.m., 10-minute on the dot videos that YouTube's lovely algorithm loves to promote, but that crap's just going to be everywhere. I'm talking about the creators that really pour their heart and soul into what they do and end up making more valuable content than 99% of syndicated TV channels. Not to say that it has as good of, production value, or maybe the editing could be better. Who cares? Who cares? It's ultimately the end result. And that's what I really enjoy about this place. And I don't feel that commitment in any other platform when it comes to this kind of stuff. Now, not to say there's not valuable stuff out there, whether it be subreddits or, the Fractal Audio forums or whatever. But you mush all that together, and that's ultimately why I feel this is the best centralized spot for me to be at. I don't think I could do it anywhere else better, or something that would even be additive. What am I going to do in, say, the aforementioned Fractal Audio forum? I can cross-post a video, which is probably not even allowed. I've not looked at their terms of service, but you'll see it in the video. If someone else wants to share it, then cool. I'm very happy that they do that, and hopefully it'll help someone. That's what it's here for. But it doesn't add anything. It's just more work. Ultimately, that's how I view it. Whether we're talking about comment chains or tweeting or all this stuff to make yourself more visible, promoting your music, all that stuff. It's just work that I don't care about. I could be using that same energy to making something that's more valuable than this, obviously. And some of that stuff you just gotta slog through. I know that the next couple of projects I'm working on in terms of original music, yes, I wanted to do some things that I don't like, but it's the way it is. Ultimately, I don't have to with the channel, though. With all that said, some of those questions are still going to be out there. Some people have asked, have you thought about making, say, my own website, or at least maybe a subreddit or a Discord server? Yeah, it's kind of crossed my mind, but here's the thing. It goes back to that segmentation point. Everyone has to have their own little club, and I'm tired of it, honestly. And it's always been my view for this channel to do the things that I would want to see as a viewer from the people that I watch, and hopefully hold myself to a higher standard. I'm the guy that is so fed up with having multiple game launchers on PC. Used to, it was Steam, and you had your local games, and now it's Origin and garbage Uplay and the Epic Game Store and Battle.net, blah, 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 blah. And it's the same thing with seemingly every service. Now, you can't just have one streaming service. You can't just have, one YouTube service. We got to have memberships. We got to have Twitch Prime. You got to have all these things. And competition is great, but it gets to be too much. And that's why, especially because of how much I despise the way that YouTube runs their platform, you're never going to see a YouTube membership program from me. Not going to happen until I reach a critical mass of subscribers and view counts and things that I think the audience is stable enough. You'll never see a Discord server or anything like that, or at least it won't even cross my mind. There is a chance at some point when this, if I should say, this has enough ground to stand on, it's strong enough to do that, then yeah, we might start talking about websites. And regardless of my personal or quasi-professional views on these things, it ultimately comes down to the fact for me that we overuse the word community for everything. We got an Xbox community, we got a guitar player community, we got Ford Bronco enthusiast communities. Are we really a community, or are we just a glorified fan club? Because I think that's what we are more of the times. We're not coming together for a grand cause to make our lives better, i.e. commune. We just like a thing, and there's nothing wrong with that. But to say that deserves more investment than we already put into it, that's a bit of a stretch for me. I do these things, I make videos, I make tutorials because it's stuff that I would have liked to seen when I was getting a grip on some of these things, and ultimately I find it fun. But would I consider the audience of this channel one big community? Hell no. And you shouldn't have to be, that's fine. But I don't have any desire to be part of something bigger than myself, because I just don't care. I'm happy what I'm doing, and I'm always open to the opportunity to find more like-minded individuals and learn from each other and have fun with this stuff. But again, that social thing that apparently so many people crave, not me. I don't care. I've been happy enough doing this stuff, being the dork in the spare bedroom, that I don't need that kind of gratification or fulfillment in that way. I'm more than happy to try to help people out when they have questions, but that's just because it's a one-on-one thing, and maybe that's a distinction that not everyone can rationalize, and that's fine too. But that is all to say, don't expect to see much of me outside of the confines of this little 16:9 video screen. And to me, that's cool, because we all have enough things, that take control of our time. And I don't want to use up any more of yours than absolutely necessary. Skip the videos you're not interested in. Skip around the parts that you don't care about, again, because the way that I try to tackle these topics in this channel is to make an all-inclusive look into the things that I want to talk about, and that's it, and then hopefully use this as a platform to have more people hear stuff that I like to make. End of story. So hopefully that will answer some questions, and it probably is not going to stop any of the questions, but that's okay. I'll redirect you here for the long answer to things. Till we hit a significant milestone on subscribers, hit me up via email and questions in the comment section. Talk to each other. Totally cool. And no guarantees even after that point, because ultimately I'm happy with where I'm at. I hope you are too. And any other questions, comments, as always, please leave them down below. We'll see you next time. Bye.